country, and the
you know,
continent,
the irony, Jason, is because she wanted to save my life. That's why she got me out of the
I understand.
continent.
I'm just blown. Like, wow. Like, I didn't realize it was like that, bro. Drink, 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 drink. This guy drank himself to ruin, to the point that he had no ambition, to the point that he had no drive, to the point that he forgot his purpose, to why he was even in Canada. You know what I'm saying? To the point that he just packed up everything and went back home as an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic when he got to Canada. He returned back to Africa as an alcoholic.
She had no idea that I used to do drugs. She had no idea that I was an alcoholic. She had no idea that I almost died many times. And that God saved my life so many times. I could have died over and over and over again.
It's like the drug dealer back when you're a kid. Yo, man, yo, keep it real, keep it live. Yo, I got your back, homie. I'd ride or die for this N-word. Yo, yeah, you don't have your best interests at heart. All right, I'm your man, Nzappazapp, aka Jason, with the one and only Emmanuel, for our new series called The Last Drink. Okay, I think the title itself speaks for itself. So please just make sure you tune into our series. We're not quite sure how many series parts there's going to be, but there's going to be quite a bit with a lot of information that'll be hitting home, and especially your heart. Okay, Nzappazapp, aka Jason, with Emmanuel, The Last Drink. AKA your man with the one and only Emmanuel. We're going to be having an amazing topic today. And what that topic is someone's life story. Now, we can all think about, well, what's the story for someone's life? I know I can think about my life story, and guess what? It's still going on. And we're all blessed to have a life that's still going on. And that's the major key part of this right now, to be blessed to still have your life going on. And this man's going to be giving highly detailed intricacies of his highs and lows from friends and foes. And once he realized that God is the only one for him to be where he's at right now as a person, I'm so happy and honored to introduce you, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you, Jason. I'm doing very well. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Nice to see you. It's been a while, bro. And like we're seeing each other right now. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing each other right now on that little video screen thing. But like, yo, me and this man go way back. Okay, like over 10 years, we go way back. I just want to hop into it, and you know, because you sent a video, you created a video on YouTube, and that video was very impactful, and you shared with me. Before we talk about the video, I just want to ask you surrounding the video, how that video that you made on YouTube about your life, how that impacted people that is close to you or people that you know.
This interview is based on the video, The Last Drink. If you haven't seen the video, you can click on the link in the description below to watch it. Now, back to the interview.
Actually, it came as a shock to, I think, to almost everyone in my family, because my elder sister called me and she said, Emma, because she calls me Emma, is that for real, or is it one of your books that you're writing? Because I used to write books, and I said, no, I haven't even scratched the surface yet. And she said, what are you talking about? And so we spoke on the phone for quite a while, and she said, is your wife there? I said, yes. She said, let me talk to your wife. Pass the phone to your wife. That's my elder sister. And I passed the phone to my wife, and she greeted my wife nicely, and you know, she talks to my wife from time to time, and spoke with her. She said, tell me what happened. She said, first of all, I want to thank you for what you have done to my brother, for saving his life. Because without you, we don't even know if he will be alive today. So my wife said,
so Emmanuel, jumping into it, what was the impact that your older sister had when you wanted to speak to your wife? What was it from that video for her to want to be compelled to challenge your video, in all essence, challenge you, right? Like, is this for real? Like,
Yes.
so what was it like? Was she surprised? She didn't know? She was happy? She was shocked? Like, what was
She
the
was
major
shocked.
impact?
She was
Okay.
actually shocked because she had no idea that I used to do drugs. She had no idea that I was an alcoholic. She had no idea that I almost died many times, and that God saved my life so many times. I could have died over and over and over again. So that was a shock to her. And then one thing she asked me was, when did this start? Because I don't remember seeing you drinking like that. I said, well, sis, it started ever since I was back home in Cameroon when I was a kid. But, I was living with mom. And so she didn't know because
Okay.
she was.
So with that being said, let's just give a little recap of your video. Then we can start asking, I can ask you questions. You can ask me questions. We can delve right into it and leave it open for whoever wants to ask us questions. So can you just like give a rundown? Because you're giving a step by step from the very beginning, from the shock factor, from your sister. Just tell us a story of Emmanuel. So you can go back to what you're saying about from when you were a child, how alcohol was introduced to you, how progressed towards other things that accumulated in your life, and where you've been in life. Because I tell you right now, people, everyone now, this man is well traveled. He is so well traveled. He's been to Europe. He's from the motherland, the continent of Africa, and I met him, and I thank God for meeting him in North America. And so, Emmanuel, just tell us your story, okay? Go.
Yes. So I'm happy you brought that up, Jason, because actually my story started when I was a young boy in Cameroon. And again, like indicated in the video, I was just curious about why so many people were happy after drinking alcohol. What is it that made them so happy? And so I decided to try it for myself. As a little kid, I was like 9 years old, and I used to, take leftovers and just drink
9
them.
years old, not even
Isn't
single
that
digit, not
crazy?
even two digits.
Not even
Okay, 9 years old. Okay.
Yes. So
where did you get access to alcohol? Where did you see alcohol? Because people, the viewers are going to be wondering, like, well, how did a 9-year-old come across alcohol?
Yes, so that's a good question. My mom owned a bar, and so when people drank, they left unfinished bottles of beers, which I, helping my mom to clear the bottles of beers and take them away. Of course, you know what I did was I poured them into a cup or somewhere else, and I took them later, sneaked it behind my mom. She didn't know what was happening, of course, at the time. She had no idea that I was doing that. Nobody had any idea I was doing that until this story was released. Nobody had any idea. I have kept that a secret all these years, that I used to sneak and take beers out to the wood and drink. So that's how I started drinking. But coming back to your question, you said, how did it all start? And I traveled. Yes, so I continued like that until high school, even writing my exams, intoxicated until high school, and then, travel abroad to Europe, like you mentioned, for further studies.
Okay, so from the age of 9, taking the empties from your mother's bar. Again, people are going to wonder. That's all I have to ask. What I'm asking for myself too as well. You know this, so that's what we're asking. So from the age of 9, you used to take the leftover bottles or cans or whatever, yeah? Put them in a cup. And what would you do? Would you go to your bedroom? Would you like drink there when your mom's not looking? Like, how did it get to the point now? Because now you're mentioning about high school. So we went from 9 years old to like approximately 14 years of age. Where were you consuming this alcohol? And from the age of 9, aside from like taking empties and pouring it into a cup, how did it progress to when you're in high school? What were you doing there?
Yes, so I used to, where I was drinking sometimes at my mom's bar, because sometimes she would leave the bar with my elder brother or sister to take care while she did other things. So I would stay at the bottom because there was a big shelf. So behind the shelf, I had to wash dishes, because my mom also sold a part of the bar was a restaurant, so kind of food selling. she served food. So I was there to wash the dishes sometimes. And so while I was down there washing the dishes, I will be sneaking I will be pouring myself emptying some of the bottles into cups, right? That I had to wash and then drinking without the knowledge of my elder sister or brother, you see. So, but sometimes I would take it into the wood, but we had like a wood. I'm from Africa, so the wood is usually not far away.
So when you say wood, you mean forest?
Not the forest, like I would say the farm and the wood too,
okay.
like where there were trees and stuff. Yeah, and that's where I drank.
The woods.
Yeah. And then going to the high school, going through secondary school, I kept drinking. So I graduated from my mom's bar to actually going far away from home, and then buying alcohol. Like at the time, I was maybe 12 or 14. I was actually now drinking in bars, local bars though, not beer parlors, but local bars where they sold locally made alcohol from wood. We call them palm wine. It's white in color, so I like it so much.
Right.
And it could get you drunk, and a lot of people got drunk. So I drank a lot of that as well, growing up. And then going into high school, I just continued drinking because now I could buy it for myself, you know. And so we don't really have like a legal age. You go into a bar.
I was just about to ask you. You're
yes.
buying. I'm like,
I could see the question in your face. 12, 13 years old, you could already be drinking in a bar. They just want to make their money. There's no one that is going to come and say, hey, why are you selling alcohol to this child?
You know what? What's very interesting is like in the Caribbean, because my background's Trinidadian, and I don't know how it is now, but I'll tell you, like when I was like a child, or when you know what the rule was for a child? As long as their head can meet the counter.
Oh, really?
As long as their head can meet the counter, they'll serve it. Because the culture was grandfathers, their father, their mother will send the kid, right?
Okay.
From the village, right? To go to local convenience, to grab a beer or two, right?
Okay.
And everyone knows, all they care is about the money, right? So it's like, but if you're like, hello, and you can't see who's talking to you, but they're like, yeah, here's the money, and the kid's running home. Here you go, dad. Here you go, mom. Here you go, grandpa, right? So in the Caribbean, that's how it is, right? So it doesn't surprise me because you're saying like, you know, it's different in Africa. And you're from Cameroon, correct?
That's right.
Exactly. So in Cameroon, you're saying at the age of 14, when after you pass middle school and high school, you're 14, 15 years of age, they don't really look at you in terms of like scrutinizing, like, oh, you're not old enough to buy alcohol. Because it's not the same thing as it is here in North America.
No,
I got you.
No.
Got you. Proceed, sir. Yeah.
This channel is very new. We would love to reach 500 subscribers in 2 months. So please help us achieve this goal by hitting the subscribe button below. It does not cost you anything, but means a lot to us. Thank you so much for your support, and God bless you.
Yeah, so I continued like that drinking until after high school. I went to university. It got worse because now at university I even had more money to drink, and I had more freedom to drink. I was living in a different province where the university is called Boya. I went to the University of Boya to do my microbiology. So I have a degree in microbiology and medical laboratory technology. So I was really good with school. I was good, doing very well. You know, I don't know how it happened that I could drink so much and still do very well in school, which was the encouragement because I thought, oh, maybe the alcohol makes me smarter than other students. So that was one of the
interesting.
The things
that
encouraged me. Yeah, which in most cases is not usually the same situation, right?
No, but so, you brought up a good point though, Emmanuel, because at the end of the day, you and I've spoken about this before. You know, I have my challenges with alcohol in the past, and you have had your challenges with alcohol in the past, and many people have challenges with alcohol in the past, and even to this day. And the one thing is, when you and I were having our conversations from before, is the fact that for everyone it's different. Okay. And so, for example, if someone's meek and shy, they don't really talk, they feel like, you know, they're not really, they're not seen in society. They're not seen by their peers whether it be in school, the workplace. But when they drink, then they have a different type of courage that comes out. Then they see how people are like, oh,
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
girl, Jill, she's funny. She's a funny person. Oh, and then for her, she's drinking more because she saw the boost of confidence that came from utilizing alcohol in her day-to-day life, but not realizing that's not her for itself, but is relying on a crutch.
If you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. All right, back to the video.
It could be like a guy who's like, like a salesperson or whoever is like at the end of the day, or just in general, like people have different reasons why. I'll put it this way. Alcohol serves its purpose differently, and it will give you the answers what you're looking for when you need it. And that's the troubling thing about it, right? So I'm relating to what you're saying right now about being a superpower. When you're in school, you're thinking, hey, why not be like this? Because you can be a happy-go-lucky, outgoing person and be the life of the party. But guess what? A few sips of, adult beverages makes you super, and you feel good about it until you don't.
You feel fearless. You feel confident. You feel like you could do anything. Yeah, and you feel like you're in your own world altogether. Like, I can do anything. You're not afraid. I had the courage to talk to anyone, to interact with anyone. I was
actually, thank you.
Go on.
Actually, Emmanuel, you're actually doing it right now, and I want to ask you. I'm going to encourage you to explain it now, because you talked about when you were 9 years old, you were curious until like you're drinking from the age of 9 to like when you're like past middle school. Now you're in high school, and we're talking now, but we'll let the listeners know like what you already started by saying. You already actually started doing this. Explain what it meant to you. How did you feel from when you were 9? You just finished explaining and sharing that well, you're surprised that you were studying and you're drinking alcohol. If anything, you thought it was like a superpower. But I'm asking you now, what did alcohol make you feel inside you?
Alcohol actually made me feel like a superhero. Like I said, I could do anything. And then I felt like I was smarter. I felt like I knew more when I drank than when I didn't drink. So I felt like
that's very interesting.
I could handle any kind of subject. I felt like I could handle any kind of subject matter. Like you want to talk about history, you want to talk about, and this, Jason, we talked about a lot of stuff when I was intoxicated, and you were also surprised with the depth of knowledge that I had about certain subject. Yes, so that's how I felt when I drank. But if you brought those subjects up, maybe when I was sober, I would probably discuss them, but not as much as, or better, not in a better way than I would when I.
Or not even care to engage as much, probably too, right?
I wouldn't engage much too. Yeah, exactly. So that's how it made me feel.
Okay, thank you. So just moving along a little bit. So, okay, you're in high school, you're drinking, post-secondary, you feel like you have a superpower, you study more, concentrated, you felt like you have an edge more so than your peers, your other, the other students that are there. What was the plan for you? Like, how did you end up being in Europe? And how did alcohol travel across the sea from Africa to Europe? And how did alcohol travel across the world with you?
Okay, that's a very good question. Because, how did I end up in Europe? So my mom, because I was living with my mom, when I got back from university, I didn't have a job. So the alcohol issue just escalated because, a guy with a degree and then has no job at home, staying with the mom. It was not a very comfortable situation for me. So I just kept drinking more. I made friends, we drank a lot. And my mom realized that, her son would kill himself with alcohol someday if he continued like that, down that path. My mom was so concerned. She was very worried about me drinking too much like that because of no job, nothing to do. So my mom put pressure on my elder sister and brother in Europe to get me out of the country because she didn't want something bad to happen to me.
Whoa. I want to understand this. Okay, Emmanuel, okay, hold on. I'm learning something new about you right now. I'm glad I asked you that question. So you're saying to me, I want to make sure I got this correct. You going to Europe, it wasn't a choice on your own accord.
No,
it was the fact that your mother team, like almost like what's the word I'm looking for? An intervention type of thing. Where it's like send him away.
Intervention, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, my mom had to get rid of me, get me out of the country because she wanted to save my life.
Out of the continent.
Out of the continent, yeah.
Out of the continent, not in the country.
Because,
out of the continent,
you know the irony, Jason, is because she wanted to save my life. That's why she got me out of the continent.
I'm just blown, like, wow. Like, I didn't realize it was like that, bro. Like, because when you and I first met, like over 10 years ago, over a decade ago, when he's like, oh yeah, I was in Europe, I was in Poland, I was in. I thought you're some good-looking, African, educated man who's just traveling abroad. You know, I didn't realize this was the actual case.
Yeah, it was sad that it got that bad. So when I went to Europe, you know, my mom meant. She actually meant it for good when she sent me out, and she did well because I went to school, I furthered my education. But at the same time, when I went to Europe, I realized that drinking in Europe was just drinking water. It was like drinking water. It was worse than I thought. It was worse than in Cameroon, right? So the Europeans, they drank a lot. Some told me that because it is cold there, so they drank a lot of vodka. And I graduated from drinking just beer and locally made drinks to drinking stronger like spirit and vodka alcohol and whiskey and stuff like that because of the cold climate there in Europe. And then I hung out with people who drank a lot too, and then smoked a lot too, a lot of cigarette this time, not the other stuff. We're getting to the other stuff, but I was smoking a lot of cigarette and drinking a lot of spirit and alcohol, anything alcohol. I used to tell people I drink from water to spirit. Give me anything drinkable and I'll drink.
I got you. So I just want to bring it back a little bit, just a little bit, because you see how I asked, okay, so where did you consume the alcohol from the age of 9 and whatnot? And like we went through it and you shared with everyone. And I thank you again. You know, it takes a lot of courage, and you know, praise be to God. And you're actually inspiring me right now, myself personally.
Thank God.
You just finished sharing that your mother, you know, teamed up with your family to send you abroad to save your life, right? To encourage you. Yeah, and plus there was bonuses when it came to education. Now, well, I'm saying I'm bringing it back a little bit. I know our listeners are going to be wondering, and I'm including myself, when did your mom find out?
My mom found out because I graduated university. Like I told you, I went to university in Boya, which is in a different province. So when I finished university, I graduated. I came back home to my mom to stay with my mom. So I started drinking a lot because I had no job. I was jobless, idle, and just drinking.
So that's when she first saw it then. That's when your mother first saw it. She wasn't aware from when you were 14. She wasn't aware from when you were like 10, 11, 12.
No, she wasn't aware, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so now we're in Europe.
The son was drinking a lot, yeah.
Got you. Thank you for answering. So now we're in Europe. You realize that how beer is nothing to them. You graduated from, you know, beer to spirits, you know, hard alcohol. And the reasoning is the fact that Europe is colder and like the hard alcohol is more like, you know, like water in a sense.
Yeah.
So from that, what was your livelihood then? So you mentioned you were going to school. And what were your relationships like with people? You already mentioned the fact that it was like the culture there, it sounds like. Okay, it was a culture there. Who was Emmanuel hanging out with? Who was Emmanuel associating with? Like, did you have a girlfriend? Were you hanging with a certain group of guys? And like every 2 seconds, aside from school, you guys are going off campus, drink. Meanwhile, you're battling with alcoholism yourself without realizing it. But for them, it's like a second nature. So if anything, in hindsight, it sounds like your mother was doing the best thing for everyone opted out to do for you, the best well-being for Emmanuel, not realizing that it's like saying this. It's like saying, okay, well, we're going to take the child away from the forest where there's wolves, and unbeknownst to us, we're gonna put them in the plains of
Where there are
Africa with
lions.
lions. You
Yeah.
know what I'm about to say. You know,
Exactly.
yeah. And no one would know that. You didn't even know that yourself.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know.
please proceed.
I
Yeah.
didn't know. So actually, when I was going to Europe, I thought, oh yeah, things are going to be better for me. I'm going to quit alcohol. And then I even told my junior brother, I told him, I'm going to go there and things will be okay. I'm going to get you to Europe as well, go to school. And things will be perfect. I'm going to be so serious and successful. Unbeknownst to me, it was not the case. It was the other way around. God was because I plunged into alcohol and just drank my life away. Merrily drank my life away. Because you asked the question, who did I hang out with? So I hung out mostly with alcoholics, people who like drinking, and they loved my company because I was fun to hang around. I made them laugh, and then most importantly, I bought most of the drinks. You see, I paid for most of the drinks.
And that's one thing. Okay, before you go on, brother, there's one thing I want, like everyone listening. Like I've experienced it myself personally. Emmanuel just finished sharing this himself. You said this one quote, well, not quote, but like you said, you merrily drank your life away. Merrily. Okay.
Yeah. To me, every time.
And then the second thing, yeah. And the second thing that you mentioned was the fact that you paid for the drinks and whatnot. And regardless if you're paying for the drinks, everyone, or not, is the fact that you're being taken advantage of. I've seen Emmanuel. I haven't shared this with you before, but like back when I was like, what, 20 years of age, I lived in a really rough part of Toronto, Canada here. And I saw a guy come from Swahili, okay? Came, didn't last 2 years. And now I knew him. I was like 20 years old. Across the street was a bootleg spot. And for those who don't know what a bootleg spot is, it's like it's a front of a store, like a store. A Guyanese man ran the store, and he would sell alcohol. It wasn't legal in Canada at the time, right? Well, alcohol is legal. It's legal, but I'm saying like you have to go to the LCBO, or the beer store. This guy would sell. He would have like Labatt Ice underneath turkeys. I'm not joking. Turkeys have been there for 3 years, but that's where you'd store his beer. And all the white construction workers, Portuguese guys, black guys, Africans were all coming, and they all go. His name was Basil. Behind Basil's store, it's like a party, bro. Like every single day, especially in the summertime, every single day, people are drinking. And so I'm thinking was one. I think it's Palaz, his name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but one of the biggest at a young age. The thing that broke my heart is the fact that this guy came for a better life. He had some, he's Swahili. He spoke Swahili. And he was from he's from was he from Kenya? Anyways, but like, he was there, and let me tell you, he came and he left. I didn't see when he left. You're like, oh, sorry, his name was Faiz. Sorry, his name was Faiz. You're like, oh, Faiz went back home. And when someone was telling me this, I could see every single person that used to drink with him, myself, and everyone around there. And some of those men had a grin on their face. Like,
why?
Because this man came to do something for himself. They're like, see, merriment, and I told them, people don't always have your best interests at heart.
Yeah, that's
so therefore, right. This guy is here drinking. You mentioned about how you would pay for everything. You didn't have your best interests at heart. That's what reminded me of this with Faiz. That's his name. That was his name. And he came, right? And he's there. Other people speak Swahili. They're teaching me a little bit of it. And they're always in the back of Basil's. That's all I knew. I'm at the age of 20, bro. And drink. This guy drank himself to ruin, to the point that he had no ambition, to the point that he had no drive, to the point that he forgot his purpose, to why he was even in Canada. You know what I'm saying? To the point that he just packed up everything and went back home as an alcoholic. He wasn't an alcoholic when he got to Canada. He returned back to Africa as an alcoholic. And let me tell you, those people around him, That's what I'm saying. So when you mention all that stuff about how you drank yourself like married, you merrily drank yourself.
myself away. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what he did. And people are like, oh, go on, man, do it. When you mention about how he used to pay for drinks, he wasn't really necessarily paying for drinks, but they're like, oh no, have another one. Yo, Fives, you're good? Have another one, man. Have another one. They want to see you rooting.
Yeah.
And that's why it brings that term
into him.
And that's why there's a term called misery likes company. It's not always about like, oh, single woman, like, oh, I'm miserable. I want other girls to be miserable. Or I'm a guy, I'm single. I want other guys to be. No. When we're talking about alcohol and the company that you keep, and that's another thing too, Emmanuel. Yes or no? When you're drinking a lot, yes or no? You don't have to look hard or far and wide to find company.
No,
they'll find you.
It's right there beside you.
They'll find you.
Yeah, they'll find you.
And that's what I want our listeners to understand. Okay? So if you have a boyfriend, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a mother, if you have a father, if you have a brother, if you have a sister, if you have anyone in your life that's going through alcoholism, don't just think it's just like, why don't you just stop? It's more than that. Because there's outside influences. And the way that people wear masks, they're not always going to understand who's your friend and who does not is your friend. It's like the drug dealer back when you're a kid. Yo, man, keep it real, keep it live. Yo, I got your back, homie. I'd ride or die for this N-word. Yo, yeah, you don't have your best interests at heart, right? So now bring it back to alcohol. That's a thing that binds people. And I'll say this one quick thing before we move it along is there's this one episode of The Simpsons and Homer Simpson goes, beer. The cause, the reason for life's problems and the solution is beer, right? It's alcohol. It causes your problems, but a quick fix is a solution. Like, oh, I had a rough day, let me just drink, right? So I just want everyone to understand that is that such a black and white thing, okay? So right now I know we're interviewing you, but it's a back and forth thing, and I'm speaking a bit. I want to move along a bit because we're going to have this in segments. So everyone who's listening, we're going to have this in segments. And we're going to be wrapping up just now. Well, Emmanuel, we're going to leave off with you being in Europe. Tell us about your time in Europe. You understand that you were hanging out with individuals. You graduated from beer to hard alcohol. It's like nothing to the colder climate over there. What was your relationships like? And what were you actually doing in Europe? And did you realize that that alcohol was still an issue with you while you're still residing in Europe?
Yes, I knew I had a big problem with alcohol in Europe. So I tried a lot of different things to quit, but including going to AA because I had a girlfriend, a white girl that I met there. She was really nice.
Before you go on, hold on. Sorry, but it's for everyone to understand though. You mentioned AA. Most people by default, Emmanuel, will think, oh, I tried to quit drinking. You think AA. You said just now, you tried a lot of things. And then you said, I even tried AA. So what were those things that you attempted to do? Because people out there, even themselves, like, well, I tried doing this, I tried doing that. So please explain.
Okay, yeah. So the first one, which is the commonest one, is like I told myself, I'm going to stop drinking. Like, I'm just going to quit right here, right now. And that's what I tried first. And then I went on for 2 days, 3 days max. Before I knew it, I was back. I will be like, okay, you know what? I think there's nothing wrong to just drink one beer, maybe just one after 3 days.
Right.
That is okay. But then the point is, once you get one, you never just stop at one. You have to just keep going. And that way, for me personally, that's how it was. I could not drink one beer. If you gave me one beer before, it was an insult. It was like I'll get mad at you.
I was just about to say that.
Why did you even give me a beer?
Exactly. No, bro, I feel you. Go on.
Yeah. So I would rather you don't give me a beer. I had a girl who wanted me to stop drinking. And then when I tried for 3 days, and then she feels sorry for me, say, oh, you have really tried. You know what? I gave you I got one beer for you just to make you happy. You can drink one beer today. And I'll be so mad because why did she even give? I wouldn't tell that to her though, but I'll be so mad inside. Like, now I drank this one beer. I want more. Why did she even give me? You shouldn't have given me anything. You should have just let me be.
I know so much. I feel what you're saying, bro. It's like we say it's like an insult. I'm like, no. Go on, go on. That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing.
So now I will have to look for an excuse. I'll be, like, oh, baby, I just, let me go out there. I want to check a friend or something. You know what? I will look for an excuse to leave the house so that I will go to a bar and drink even more and, just satisfy that to fill up that hole now that she just opened. So that one didn't work when I tried it by myself. And then I also tried prayers, praying, I thought I could pray by myself, just pray for God to help me. But, if you're praying but you don't have the interest to really stop, God knows that, right? Because I was praying.
Okay. No, that's a good point. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was praying just for God to like deep inside, I really didn't want to quit alcohol because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to lose all my friends. I'm going to lose all the fun that I'm having all the time. I'm going to lose that because I wanted to be tipsy or drunk at all times so that I will be excited at all times. I'm going to lose all of that. So I would pray, but I would not be serious. And I'm sure God knew that, of course.
Yeah, here's one thing too. I want the listeners to understand. And you brought up a very good point. I don't think you realize what you just said. Like how's a very good point. What a lot of people face when they deal with, because it's like you're setting yourself to go to voluntary depression if you're to stop drinking. Now let me break that down. So it's like, as Emmanuel just shared, oh, I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to lose my good times. I don't want to lose the energy, the fervor, how I am, society. Because for how many years, that's how you live. That's how many people live. Okay? Now, if there's no real cause or a reason for someone to stop cold turkey, or it's like, whether it be legally, you can't have a drop of alcohol in your blood because you got a DUI, drinking and driving, or you have a child that came into the world, I'm going to become a better man. I'm going to become a better woman. I'm going to stop. If it's just like on your own and you know in your mind, this is not good for me, but yet your life is not even surrounded, is drenched, like soaked up within utilizing alcohol for your livelihood, you're asking yourself to give up what you know. And when you give up what you know, you're going to have a big question mark of like, what do I go do now? Because what did you say? You didn't want to lose your friends. So therefore, if you don't drink with those people anymore, you don't have your friends anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that was.
If you stop drinking anymore, you're not going to hang out with those people anymore. You're not going to go to the same environments. You're not going to go to the same bars or clubs or anything like that anymore. So you're setting yourself up for depression. So I want people to understand that it's not as simple as just like, oh, well, just stop drinking. Because there's a whole, it could be people, it could be your livelihood, it could be your environment, it could be how you even function, period, without necessarily being a drunk. If you don't think alcoholic, you go, I'm a drunk. No. Like this.
It's
no,
the feeling,
that's not the case.
The feeling too.
It's who you are. And that's why I said you don't want to set yourself up for depression. Because that's what's going to happen to most people. When you take away things like their dog or their cat or their loved ones or their friends, their peers, or just move to a different state or province, people become depressed. Now, if your whole life surrounds itself, or revolves, I should say, around alcohol, and when you think about it like that, because people think, oh, you're drunk. No, it's not like that. You're setting yourself up for depression.
Listen, you just mentioned something.
You understand what I'm saying, Emmanuel?
Yes. Yeah. If I may get in there. Before I forget. Yes, because you said if your whole life revolves around alcohol, and stuff like that, you are setting yourself up for depression, which is I actually got into I almost had depression, or I did for a while because of that. And then the reason was I could not function. I did not see myself functioning normally or properly with alcohol. But even though I thought I was functioning normally, in the eyes of other people, I was not. Even though I thought I was, it got to an extent where I thought I was really doing things right, try to hide it. But actually, people could tell that this guy, something is not right, and then I could not go to a place when there was no alcohol. If I got up in the morning, the first thing I was thinking is, Oh, how am I going to get my
Your next
first
beer.
drink?
Yeah,
Yes.
got you. I got you.
If you
Yeah.
invited me somewhere, it was like, oh, is there going to be drinks there? You know?
Yeah.
If you are telling me come to my, because if you are inviting me anywhere and there's going to be no drink, there's no way.
You'll make sure you brought your own. You'll make sure.
I
or
brought
you'll
my
make sure
own,
you-
yeah.
Exactly.
And then I buy more for you. I'll bring more so that we can share together, because I love
And the more
that.
they drink, the more you will drink.
The more I will drink. And I love that kind of lifestyle, you know. And that's what you said that if your whole life revolved around alcohol, my whole life revolved around alcohol. Any decision I made, anything I did, anywhere I went, has to be one way or the other connected to alcohol. I'm telling you, it was like a god. Like I worshipped it. Like anything I did, and all the mistakes, I would say all the mistakes I've made in my life, all the big mistakes I've made in my life, one way or the other are connected to alcohol somehow.
Got you.
Yeah, if you look
Okay,
at
with
it.
that being said right now, okay, I'm going to wrap up this first segment. So everyone, please tune in for our next segment that we're going to be having with Mr. Amazing Emmanuel. A truly, truly amazing man. He has a very amazing story, and he's touched myself. Hopefully, it will touch you. And hopefully, as a facilitator and host, I'm able to be a contribution myself. I'm Jason the Jaguar, aka the Nzappazapp, here, the one and only channel. We got you. Much love. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed our segment right now with the last drink. Your man, the Nzappazapp, aka Jason, with Emmanuel, and our link is right here. So please make sure you hit like and subscribe just to follow, and please definitely share. All right, the last drink, but we're here forever.
Merci pour votre attention. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. We would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please click on the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Oh, and remember to help spread the word by sharing this video so that other people can benefit from it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again for another powerful video. Au revoir!